I don't really have a funny intro to do. Amelia is best girl. Hello, thank you for stopping by. My name is Samurai Kibiji, in which I've been reacting to this show, ReZero. I got episodes 7, 15, and 18 up. And today I'm going to talk about what my thoughts are on the whole show, because I watched the whole thing, you know, that's what I do when I don't just put up single episode reactions, guys, okay? I watch the show leading up to those episodes. So since I finished ReZero, I thought I'd talk about what I thought of it today and give it a score and review it and details and so on. Because that's why these reviews are fun, is because I get to talk about it. So yes, stick around towards the end. If it's your first time here, you should consider subscribing to the channel, in which there's weekly content to endorse us to be geek, be proud, be awesome, with things like reactions, gaming highlights, discussion videos like this, and much, much more on things like anime, games, and movies. And if you haven't clicked that bell icon, guys, you should do that so you can stay always in the know of what's going on. So ReZero is a 2016 anime by Studio White Fox that has both a manga series, but is originally based off of a light novel series written by Tape Nagatsuki. That's what I see here. White Fox did such an awesome job with the show. Like, I love the way it looks, the way it sounds. This studio just kicked it out of the park with this freaking show. Like, I thought they did a very good job when it comes to the overall presentation of it. And when it comes to the plot and characters and so on, basically the story purely almost all is experienced from this character Subaru, who is a guy that's teleported. Of course, he's a stereotypical, like, around 18 years old person. And this guy from our world, Subaru, he's teleported to this fantasy-like place that just, it's completely a fantasy-like world, and he is trying to comprehend why he's there at the beginning, but overall it becomes a story of how he meets these different characters, like this half-elf girl named Amelia, and there's these maids, and there's an AKA who's everybody's best girl is, and there's a lot of death and so on in the show that he gets to use his supposed ability to go back in time, because whenever he dies, he gets reset to a previous point in time. But the thing about the show that is the best to me is that Subaru breaks that mold that things like Edge of Tomorrow and Groundhog's Day, you know, they did these things that just like this, with a character dying and restarting at a certain point in time. But the thing I really like about this show, almost the biggest thing I respect about it, is the fact that whenever Subaru dies, it takes his mentality like toll on him. He doesn't abuse his power. He isn't just somebody that uses it to fix everything left and right, and he's like, okay, I'll just commit suicide now. Oh yeah, kill me, whatever. He doesn't want to die, ever. He never wants to use that power, because every single time he experiences it, he experiences death, which this show makes you feel every time he dies. It is so gruesome and terrible of a thing to happen that it affects him. And I love that. I really love that. I felt this aspect was something that just always people took lightly. It was always something that just happened, and they obviously don't want to experience it, but it just never took a toll on their mental well-being. And I feel like an act like that really would. So that's the biggest thing I really like about this show, is that they do that. Subaru really becomes affected by all these things that happen to him, which transitions me into the point of Subaru himself. That's something I like about him, that this is a very realistic guy that gets affected by these things. And him as a protagonist, look, I didn't love him. He isn't like a protagonist that I'm just like, I'm so compelled to see you fulfill your dream. Like, you keep pushing, Deku, you keep pushing. Like, no, he's not one of those kind of protagonists. He's a protagonist that just, he is very go happy and lucky sometimes, but at the same time, he's an incredibly nervous wreck. And he's kind of a dick too sometimes. Like, you think he's actually a good guy, but if you think about it, sometimes the way he behaves and his motivations and so on, he's kind of a dunce. The reason why I really like Subaru in this show is because he's a very realistic person. He's not super heroic. He's not a total idiot. He's just very human to me. The only thing that's unrealistic about him is sometimes how he pulls off such a happy face or whatever. But when you think about it, you understand why he does that sometimes. But sometimes he can be a bit too comedic. But I didn't care about that, because this show has a good blend of all elements: drama, comedy, horror. It has a lot of blend of all these things in it. And I'm really not that into dark anime, and this one isn't necessarily a dark one, but when the dark tones hits, which they do, they hit hard because of all that mixture of different elements in it. They make you laugh and like be into these characters and so on, because when the moments of darkness hit, they hit hard by making you be in this, you know, mixed tone of a show. I will say that the ending was something that I wish came with more sacrifice. I'm not going to get into any spoilers in this review, but I do wish that the ending came with a bit more sacrifice to it. And I can't say how the ending turned out, but it seemed a bit too clean to me, you know, like I just kind of wish there was a bit more depth to it. However, I can't help but admit I love the ending at the same time. There's a lot of moments in the show that I do have a lot of love-hate moments, and it's kind of like very subjective. I could see a lot of people having a lot of problems with the show, and I could see a lot of people loving certain things or them being mixed. It could be all over, and for me, there was a lot of love-hate moments. For example, Subaru is a very hollow character sometimes. We're with him the whole show, but we don't totally understand what he's always thinking, what he's exactly feeling, what his true motives are. We think we do, and most of the time we kind of do, but there's a lot of times where he himself as a character does feel kind of hollow, and it's like we're just experiencing everything through him. But at the same time, there's moments I like that. A lot of things didn't really get answered, which is another kind of love-hate moment of me. There's a lot of unanswered questions, a lot of loose ends that didn't get tied up, and I know the light novel has gone further than the anime does, but I could get why a lot of people have a problem with there not being a lot of answers to these things that were opened. However, the title of the last episode is literally called "That's What This Story Was About." That's literally the title of last episode. And when I saw that, that's not really a story spoiler. I'm just purely saying the last frame of the show is you see that's all this story was about. And when I saw that, it kind of, on a personal level, it kind of made me forgive that I don't have all these answers, because I realized they weren't really that relevant to the story that this was about. But again, I could see that being a love-hate relationship, and it is with me. It's like, I want all these answers, and I might not get them, but at the same time, I'm okay with that. ReZero is an anime that kept me more engaged than I've been in a very long time. There are times where I really wanted to watch episodes back to back, which are very rare for me to do. And of course, there's good comedy in it. There's cute girls. Of course, there's cute girls. There's a couple action sequences in it that are awesome, but that's not what the show is about, really. It's about the characters and how Subaru tries to impact this world with his ability, but really impact it with himself, with the lives that he has. It really makes me think, you know, what do we do with the time that we have, and really try not to waste that? It's a concept that has been done before, but this show to me did it in a very fresh way that I don't know if they could have continued it for much longer than they have for this season. And that's why I worry about a season 2. But overall, this show was seriously, guys, it probably is my favorite that you've suggested for me to watch when it comes to doing reaction videos. I would like to give it a higher score than this on a personal level, but I can't help but notice there are little problems with the show. Like, yes, some things not getting tied up. You worried about why was that established when there wasn't a payoff for it. And there's certain things about it that are, I can't even really say them. I admit they're there. But because of that, I won't give it a solid one, but ReZero, A-. So I'd love to hear from you guys. What did you think of ReZero? Do you think that there should be a season 2? If there was one, you know, do you think that you would need the answer to these questions? I just love to hear your thoughts about season 2, as well as what you thought of ReZero, or any questions that you might have about it if you haven't seen it. But be wary of spoilers, guys. If you put spoilers, please put a few space bars to avoid that. And then I will love to see those comments. And as always, thank you so much to my patron family. You guys make these videos possible every single day, including this one, the ones before, and the ones after. They get things like daily vlogs in which I do discussion videos, as well as full reactions, polls to impact content, and we now have live streams every month. So if you'd like to join them, click in the card above in the description down below. And if it's your first time here, you should check out the rest of the channel and consider subscribing, to which there's the cards surrounding me now, I believe, and you can see more content, channels to the side, as well as how you can support me. So consider subscribing, check out the rest of the channel. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you in another video.